Hello, and welcome back to Reflections of the Sacred Self. So, today I want to talk about analyzing emotions rather than actually feeling them. So, just to ask yourself, have you ever got to the point where you've kind of processed your emotions only to realize that actually you've just been intellectualizing them and explaining them away and not actually feeling them? Because that was me for years, and it's still something that I have to work on today all the time. So, at one point, particularly after my dad committed suicide, I could talk about his suicide and the pain and the trauma and everything with ease. And some people who didn't really understand trauma made it appeared that I had worked through it all and I'd healed and I was doing really well. But I wasn't actually feeling any of those emotions. I'd disconnected and disassociated from my body. So I was essentially in the dorsal vagal freeze state. So I was able to analyze my emotions, but without not actually living them. And the truth is that when you don't let yourself feel emotions, they don't just disappear. You can't explain your emotions away. They kind of hang around, they resurface, and life just keeps sending you little reminders until you actually deal with them. So I just want to share some of my journey of how I went from someone who analysed their emotions to someone who can actually transform their emotions into something positive, and hopefully give you some tips to do that along the way. So when you analyse your emotions, it gives you an illusion of control, and it does for me like massively. It's like a huge thing. Control has always been a massive trauma trigger for me, so I've needed to control my environment around me. And when I talk about how I feel very matter of factly, very clearly, it gives me that feeling that I'm in control of these emotions, that I'm dictating how they affect me, and I'm running the show essentially. But because I'm disconnected from those emotions, all I'm doing is basically talking about an emotion. I could be talking about anybody. So I'm kind of like over here and talking about it. And in here, there's nothing going on. Here is not feeling anything. And so when you don't feel it in your body, you don't feel the sensations. What happens is your body then starts to store it somewhere. It doesn't disappear. So for me, I built up lots of tension in my hips, in my neck, in my shoulders, because my body was just storing these emotions because I was just like, yeah, this has happened to me and that's happened to me. Yep, that was bad. And, this is how I felt. But I wasn't actually really feeling that. I was just talking about how I was like, that feeling was there, but I was just talking about it and not feeling it. And it can be quite a hard distinction to kind of realize when you first think, oh, okay, I am dealing with this because I'm talking about it. When you start to sort of click in and think, actually, do you know what? I'm not actually feeling this. And it's only sometimes like years later when stuff keeps coming back and coming back and coming back, you think, why do when I feel so controlled and balanced around this, does it keep coming back? And it's because you're intellectualizing it and not feeling it. And so it becomes like a thing we have to try and work out how to do it. So for me, I'm working quite hard to teach myself, and I still work with this on a regular basis to stay with my emotions. Now, growing up as a child, I grew up with my father was an alcoholic. There was lots of domestic abuse around me. And one of my coping mechanisms as a child was to separate myself from the strong emotions and to not feel them. And so I would very much have this ability, and I still have it now, which is something I don't like very much about myself, and it's something that I'm working on all the time, is that I can disconnect from people emotionally very, very easily. Because I can block my emotions. So I can let people walk out of my life and it doesn't appear to affect me. And that's because I have shoved away any of those emotions. I'm totally disconnected from what's happening in here. So this stuff is just happening outside and it's not happening to me. And so I've had to work against that instinct and to allow myself just to connect with other people as well. So allow myself to move up the hierarchy of states. So we go from the dorsal vagal and all the way up to the connected and safe and connected and social arena. So basically when you're the safest you possibly can be, because then it allows me to build bonds with people and actually then feel an emotion when they walk away. Or if there's a issue. So I can start to feel those emotions. And it's starting to kind of, one of the ways that helps me is to go from judgment, so judging how the emotions are, to curiosity. So asking myself, how does it feel in my body? And instead of like, why is this going on? So trying to analyze it. So I'm trying to figure out, why am I feeling like this, and what's the cause, and what's the solution to feeling like this? I'm like, what does it feel like? Just literally that. What does it feel like? So connecting into the body, feeling what's happening in the body. And so that just allows me to shift a lot more. So when I was grieving for the death of my dad, when I finally stopped intellectualizing, which I did at first, I finally stopped disassociating from it, and I felt it. It was extremely painful, but it released a lot of tension in my body. So I released tension in my hips, I released some of my shoulder pain, and I allowed myself to feel that and to accept the fact that there was a lot of grief there. And now, even when I talk about my dad now, I can feel grief in the moment, because I mean, it's 18 years now, so it's a long time. I can feel the grief in the moment, and I can release an emotion. So I might cry, I might feel that, and then I can just get on with my life, because that's the kind of thing, like emotions like that, when they're big and they're strong, they come and they go. And the difference between not having processed it and having processed it is that you allow it to come, feel it, and then move on comfortably and easily without it kind of affecting you, because we all have emotions and we'll feel them. And I think we aim so much for this perfect emotional state where we're not feeling anything, that's when we disassociate, because actually it's human to feel these emotions. It's human to feel grief. And it's human that even 20 years after somebody dies, when you think about them and you bring up memories, it's natural and normal to feel sad and emotional around that. Even if it's only for just 5 minutes and then it goes away, it's just a natural, normal thing. And it's kind of starting to understand that actually that's okay, and not trying to block it and figure out, why am I feeling sad? I'm feeling sad because somebody you love died. And like often there's a real reason. You're feeling it. It's okay. How do I feel it? Where do I feel it? And then you allow it to pass. So that's just my personal take on it anyway. So I want to share some practical tools with you so you can start feeling as well. Start feeling what's happening in your body. And it's 2 to 3 practices, but I would actually work them all together as one. It's the easiest way to do it, because then you can just take yourself through that chain of feeling. And the first is the 3-breath stay. So put your hand on your heart and just taking 3 slow breaths. And as you inhale, and as you exhale, name the emotions. You might say, this is anger. Inhale, you might say, this is grief. Or inhale, oh, this is fear, right? It's just naming what's happening, and not my anger, this anger, not my grief, this grief. You don't own it. It's an emotion you're feeling. Okay, so it's an important distinction to make, and it's the same with any illness. You don't own it. It's not your condition. It's a condition that you suffer from. And anger is an emotion that you are feeling. It's not your anger. You don't own it. It's just something that comes in and it goes. These things, they move in, they move out. So it's something you're feeling. Just allow yourself to feel it, acknowledge it, but don't own it. And the other thing you can do, and I would do this after you've named your emotions, is to go into a somatic curiosity check-in. So then you would just say, right, because you've named your emotion. Let's suppose it's anger. This is anger. You're feeling anger. So don't try and analyze why you're feeling that anger. So just ask yourself, where do I feel this anger in my body? Like, where is it? And pinpoint the area that anger comes up. And you'll know, like I was talking about anxiety recently. I was saying about anxiety tends to go up into my head and I feel it rising, like panic when it goes up. Or like anger, rage, it might sit in the pit of your stomach and you might really feel it in there. And then you might be different to me. So it's where you feel it, and it's starting to connect with that. And then ask yourself, does it feel heavy, hot, tight, or buzzing? Like, what's the actual sensation you're getting with that as well? So not just where it is, what is the sensation? What does it actually feel like? And then ask yourself, what happens if I soften around it? So just allow yourself to breathe into it, to soften it, and just allow what happens to happen. Okay, you're not trying to change it, you're just allowing what happens. So do those things, do those 2 together. So you're going to then name it, feel it, sense it, like get a sensation of where it is in your body. And then you can move on to the 3rd step, which is radical allowing. So for this one, you would repeat to yourself, it is safe to feel this. I don't have to fix it now. And you can do that while you're deep breathing as well. And just allow the sensations to move without forcing any resolution. So just allowing yourself to be safe to feel what you're feeling, and knowing that you don't have to fix it. You can just sit and feel it. And often when we acknowledge those feelings and we sit with them, they pass a lot more quickly. They hang around. The more we resist them, the more we try and push them down or disconnect from them, the longer they hang around. We actually allow ourselves to really feel it. So it's safe. I feel angry. It's safe to feel angry. Anger is a normal emotion. And it's allowing yourself to feel that anger and accept it and say, okay, I feel angry. And see what happens when you do that. When you know where that feeling is, you allow yourself to feel it and you just say, yeah, it's fine. I can feel it. And just allow that to dissolve on its own. Right. So hopefully you give that a try. So why is it really worth doing this? Well, when you feel emotions, instead of avoiding them, what it helps to do is it builds your resilience. So it builds your strength for next time a strong emotion comes along, because you've allowed yourself to process it, to feel it, and to let it move through. So your body learns that rhythm, it learns that pattern. So when a strong emotion comes up, the natural instinct is what happens is your body feels it and it lets it go, because it knows that's what it needs to do. And so you're actually building that long-term resilience. It also helps you to build compassion, because you start to understand your emotions more. You start to feel that connection, and you feel it with other people as well. So you understand other people's emotions. Your compassion grows all the way around. And it brings you more present to everyday life. When you allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and you come into your body and you feel it, so you're not trying to explain it away, you're not trying to plan how you can move it on, you're just allowing yourself to feel it. You come more into the present moment. You're more where you are, you're more present, you're more connected. And actually that helps to regulate your nervous system in and of itself. So when you regulate through feeling, you also show up calmer and clearer in your relationships. So when you're having a disagreement, let's say you've got a partner, you're having a disagreement with them, when you feel the anger coming up and you can say to yourself, oh, I'm feeling angry now, right? This is anger. And then you can start to feel it in your body. So you're very present with that anger. The chance of you acting on that anger in an unconscious way is reduced. So you turn up in that relationship calmer. So if you're not having an argument and there's something that in the past would have irritated you, and a lot of people have this tendency. So you're in the relationship, and I'm really guilty of this. Something's annoying you. You feel like you're taking responsibility for one particular thing and someone's not helping you, and it starts to eat away inside you. But rather than accepting and owning that anger and feeling it, we push it down and we push it down and we push it down until eventually it comes out, and it comes out in an explosion. But if the first time that anger comes up, you say to yourself, this is anger, and you feel it and you allow it to pass through, chances are it either doesn't bother you anymore because you actually you know what, it just passes on, or you talk to your partner about it, but you do it in a calm, clear way because you've allowed yourself to accept the anger, to feel it, and to allow it to kind of dissolve into your system. So it has huge benefits long-term for your relationships as well. And most importantly, it shortens the emotional kind of hang time. So instead of emotions hanging around, circling for weeks, years, they can pass when they're given space. So you don't have to hold on to these emotions. They don't have to eat away. They don't have to be stored in your body. You process them when they arise and you allow them to dissolve and move on. And it makes such a difference. It mentally, that calms everything down emotionally, mentally, and builds your self-esteem and your confidence and how you actually feel about yourself in life. Now, this is, if honestly, an ongoing lesson for me. And I still have a reflex to push emotions to the side, to push them down, to go into analyzing mode instead of feeling them. I'm very intellectual. I'm very good at discussing my emotions, and it's a natural instinct for me. But every time I practice staying, even for just a few breaths, it transforms it a little bit and it becomes a bit easier to stay present with those emotions. So a reflection question for you to take away from here is, what emotions have you been analysing instead of allowing yourself to feel? So connect in, feel, what are you analysing and not actually feeling? And you'd be surprised what comes up. And I'd love for you to try these practices and notice if anything shifts for you. And let yourself not just think about it, but actually feel it. And come and share with me on the comments if this helped, how it's helped, what's come up for you if you're allowing yourself to feel. And just, share. And if you're enjoying this video, remember to like and subscribe so you can see my other content and hopefully it goes out to other people. And if you'd like to connect, I would love to welcome you into my free group on Skool, The Sacred Pause. I will drop the link in the description. and I'll hopefully see you there soon.